here today in South Texas, coyote outfitter, nilgai hunting. So we're out here with a group, Hero Hunt, our Hero Hunt guys. One of our heroes last night shot a nilgai. Gonna make some biltong. So earlier we took some of our primal cuts out that we use for biltong making. We used the rounds, obviously. We got a couple of cuts here. We got a knuckle, pretty good cut. We have a bottom round, our next cut here, and then we have our eye of round. So three cuts out of the round that we're going to use for biltong making. This thing, let's cut it into our strips. We about 1-inch strips to get this going. A little bit of trimming, but not too much. We'll weigh it up, get it seasoned up, and make some biltong. Pretty easy process. Biltong, difference between biltong and jerky. Obviously the meat, the cuts that we use, we cut with the grain instead of against the grain. So the process of making biltong pretty much is, other than jerky, is there's no heat treatment. So air dried, cut big steaks, air dried for about 5 or so days. You know, seasoning's pretty simple: salt, pepper, coriander, main ingredients. You can flavor it however you want, little cayenne pepper in there. Some people put sugar on it if you like something a little sweet, but typically no sugar involved. Then we'll get to the process of the ingredients in just a little bit. So let's get this meat cut up. About 1-inch steaks. Got our bottom flat. And our knuckle. Alright, so our final cuts. So from here, now that we have all of our strips cut into, I'd say about 1 inch in diameter, or 1 inch in width, and we go to seasoning. So we get a total weight on it, and then we'll calculate the salt, pepper, coriander that goes in it. What we're going to use is a little bit of vinegar. I got some red wine vinegar today. Apple cider vinegar is fine. I like the flavor of a little bit of red wine vinegar. This process is pretty simple. We got our vinegar, we have our spice mix already pre-weighed out for the amount of meat we have. Combination salt, pepper, coriander, a little bit of beef stock flavoring. But that's what we have in our combination today. So what we're going to do is we're going to start very simple process. Like I say, a little bit different than jerky that gets seasoned and treated with a little bit of heat. We just do a little bit of vinegar on the bottom. What we want to do is just layer it. We want to treat the meat as little as possible, so we're not going to handle it that much. Just a little bit of vinegar on the bottom, and then we're just going to start by just stacking it. Just stack it into nice layers. That. Start with our seasoning. Do a good coat. Seasoning over this. Just try to get it as uniform as possible. Now basically, with the vinegar and the salts, it's going to pull all the moisture out of the meat and form its own brine. So if you don't have it perfect on the layers as far as the seasoning and the vinegars go, don't be too worried about it. Once that brine is formed, we'll do another mix on it, and then it will be a more even spread. So one layer done. Spray another little bit of vinegar on top of that. It doesn't take much. Vinegar really is it is kind of an antimicrobial use. I mean, it does prevent bacterial growth on it, but also is a very good substance of preventing flies actually. So a lot of people back in the day in South Africa, especially where biltong originated from, just hung it outside in trees, and flies obviously is your main enemy, and so vinegar helps prevent bugs from getting to it. Nice thing about making biltong, it's easy. Anybody can do it. You don't need much equipment for it. It's all air drying process. Humidity plays a pretty big factor in it. Typically, the more humidity you have in your area, the less heat you want. Heat and humidity is not good together, but even temperatures up into the 70s, even 80s, he'll be fine as long as it's a dry temperature. Down here in Texas, we got pretty dry heat, seems like, so not worried at all about any kind of spoilage down here, even in higher temperatures. And then after we're all seasoned up, even layers of vinegar and seasoning, we got a good mix. We're gonna keep this refrigerated for about 24 hours or so. After that, we're gonna turn it. Basically next morning, we're gonna get up and we're gonna do the top layer to the bottom, basically. Get another lugger like this and we'll just flip top to bottom. By that point, by tomorrow, it's gonna have a nice juicy brine in there. So, and then that brine will just mix back into it and leave it for another couple of hours or so, and it will be ready to hang up. Get all the accessories, biltong making accessories here in the US at biltongdepot.com. Nice website. They've got everything from seasonings to drying cabinets, especially the drying cabinet for DIY, make it yourself biltong. Pretty handy thing. I got it all laid out here already. It's basically plastic. It's really simple. No tools required to assemble this thing. It's dishwasher safe, food safe, food grade materials used, food grade plastics, basically cutting board material, and no tools required, like I said. So it really pops in real simple. So we're just going to start with the foot piece. It's got a little foot piece, and then we got the back. The back, basically, it's got all these slots on the sides. Really simple. Directions easy to follow. The back slides in, the sides goes up next. It's got these little grooves, they just literally fit right into each other. Nice thing about this cabinet is it's built and tested for drying biltong, so it's got the right amount of airflow. Just works with the extraction method, basically a fan on top, some slots on the sides, pulls the air through, dries the meat. Real simple. Flip this on its back. Got these clips. Just clip them in from the inside out. Okay, once you got your bottom secured, flip it right back up. Make sure everything is in place. You can do this one of two ways. You can either go ahead and put the top on, or you can go ahead and do your hanging rods. I find it easier to use the hanging rods first. That way you have a lot of space to work with and easier to hang the biltong. So you just insert these. It's also got little notches on the ends. So it goes through the holes, turns it, and it secures right in place so it won't move. You don't have a risk of your meat falling off. Another little tip is that you can do it one by one. So do the back one first, hang some biltong, do your second one, and so forth. But I'll just go ahead and put all these guys in. And now, easier way, once again, we'll do this, but Easier way is to go ahead and hang your meat where you have visibility before you put the top on. Once the top is on, then you have to kind of work from underneath. So as far as hanging your biltong, we got these hooks also available. Found them biltongdepot.com. You can buy these plastic, once again all dishwasher safe, real simple stuff. Basically take your pieces, put a hook through them like that, and they are ready to hang. And these cabinets hold about 15 pounds of biltong meat. If you're going to do sausages takes up a little bit more room in these cabinets, but it holds about 10 pounds of sausage, or up to 15, even 16 pounds of meat I fit into it before, depending on obviously the length of the pieces. But you're just going to do that and make sure that there's enough room between them. You just want to leave enough room for airflow. Obviously you don't want these things to touch. Once they touch, they start drying a little bit, and that can create some mold with the moisture if there's not enough air coming past them. Alright, so now you got your biltong hung. Time to install the top. So the top part, basically exhaust fan, really simple, computer fan really is what it is. Really straightforward. So this piece fits right into some slots. Get the notches coming through. There we go. Last 4 clips, secure it in. Okay, the only thing that's left is to mount the cord. The cord comes separately, it's not part of the assembly. But there's a little plug here in the back of the fan. It runs on a 110. You just plug it right into the wall, connect your cord, close the door, and off you go. So there's no speed regulation or anything like that. It's literally just flip the switch and just watch it do its thing. The drippage down here at the bottom is just the excess vinegar and brine that it created basically. That lasts for couple of minutes, hour maybe at the most. If you really want to, go ahead and get that cleaned out. You know, it doesn't hurt anything to open this throughout the process, but it should be good to go in about 5 days or so. And a way to test it is basically you can touch and feel it, depends on how you want it. This meat is cured, so it can be a little bit red inside. That's perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it. It's kind of like eating steak. Some people like steak a little more medium rare, some people like it more well done, so kind of personal preference. But you can feel it, just like a steak. You know, the harder it is, the drier is the meat. So what you want is just a real firm touch to it when you try to press on it, and you should be good to go. Cut a piece off if you like it a little drier, let it go another day. And yeah, that's biltong. Okay, then we took the liberty of actually just giving you a sample of what it's supposed to look like after about 5 days. We hung this, same meat. This has been hanging for about 5 days at room temperature, just the fan going. So just kind of show you guys what it's supposed to look like. We'll open it up. We'll get one of these pieces out. Like I said, it's just a good firm. It's got just a little bit of give to it, but still nice and firm meat. And like I said, the easiest way to do it, make sure that's how you want it dry. You can cut it. We got some biltong cutters that you can get on, also find those on biltongdepot.com if you want one of those, but just to give you an idea, here's what we look like. So that one, it's a nice, still a little bit of a tender inside, but no redness there anymore. So we're good to go. And there you have it. If you want it, like I said, a little bit more drier, some people prefer it more on the drier side, just leave it another day. But and there we have biltong.